Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 14th episode of the Plot Pilled podcast. I'm Dallan.
Jordan.
And,
I'm drinking
yeah, I have eggnog. It's been a long week, if you can't tell by our beverage choices. Our brains are a little bit fried, but we're here to talk about entertainment and all things story. That's what this podcast is about. So, let's just get into it. So today we're spotlighting Lackadaisy, specifically the pilot of Lackadaisy, a independent animation that, in my opinion, and I believe Jordan's opinion as well, kind of puts Hollywood to shame in terms of quality. Which, funnily enough, next week we're going to be talking a bit about quality and that whole thing. So this kind of relates. It's going to be a little bit of a two-parter, you could say.
Yep.
But, yeah. Then we're going to be diving into what makes a good pilot episode. The do's and do-nots, the basics of how we would approach writing one, and as always, just, our opinions on what it means to be a good pilot.
Right. Well, and I think that caveat's important because we have talked before about following someone else's formula for writing too closely. Like, take everything you ever hear about how to write something with a grain of salt.
Yeah, no, it's always going to be different how you do it.
Yep, but we want to talk about it.
Just,
it's fun.
Yeah, you look at what works and you try to implement that into your own story. So, but first, we're going to go into our microdose segment. We have a little bit of news this week that I think is exciting.
Yes.
I think it's very exciting.
One of them's very
exciting. One of them is like, thank God. And I'm also excited for the next one. So, this is actually pretty good news, all things considered. So, the first one is Japan has proposed a new entertainment policy under what's called the New Cool Japan Initiative to boost the global expansion of its anime, manga, and gaming industries. Now, like, immediately when you hear that, you're like, oh no, right? Uh-oh. But then the key principle comes in. What was it?
No, so I was just gonna make a stupid joke. I said, or if you're Japanese, it's the New Cool Japan.
New Cool Japan.
Just making fun of the fact that it'll be else.
Yeah, cool. When you first hear that, you're like, uh-oh, right? But then you see what the key principle of the policy is, which is no interference in creative works whatsoever. Which basically aims to protect creators from censorship and political meddling, which, is just fantastic. We have been dealing with that for so long.
I love how this thing doesn't... We're not naming names, but it does say, including from Western countries.
Yeah, including from Western countries.
Looking at you, United States and UK, probably the worst ones.
Mm-hmm. While providing more direct financial support for global distribution. So, the government's goal is to grow the content market to 20 trillion yen by 2033. So basically, they are planning on full-on just pumping the train full of coal when it comes to making entertainment. Whether that be in video games, manga, anime, music, anything that they can, movies. And just full-on saying, creators, you have full creative control. No one is going to be able to come in and tell you that you can't do that or you can't do this because it's offensive to someone else or, whatever. It means that, the people who write stories get to write stories, and not have their work be misinterpreted by a different country. It will be full on, that is what the creator's intention was. None of this bullcrap of, was this a trans allegory? No, none of that, nonsense in it. So
well, I assume it protects them from the localizers too. That's what the political meddling part of that is. Which is like, no, you cannot take our stories, translate them into English, but completely botched the translation to the point where it's almost unrecognizable from the original content.
Yeah.
To fuel your political ideology. Like, that's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am 1000% for this. Thank God for Japan. Didn't they just elect that one? Like, basically Japan's version of Trump is what everyone's calling her.
Yeah. Sadayo.
I can't remember her name. But no, I'm all for this because, and the huge expansion too is so exciting because Japan is infinitely better at entertainment than we are. And it's not because, let me like put another little caveat on that or whatever, a little addendum. It's not because we inherently suck. It's because we've allowed ourselves to become so inundated with political correctness and just other crap that kills creativity and risk-taking in stories, while they have not.
Yeah.
They instead lean hard into their core.
Sanai Takaichi.
Yeah.
Takaichi.
Okay. Thank God for that woman. Good job, lady.
Yeah. I believe that this definitely has a big part of her becoming Prime Minister of Japan.
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know the politics over there.
Yeah.
But
it would not surprise me.
Considering this came right after she was basically put into office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that it was probably on her radar. But yeah, no. I'm very happy about this. Bring on more Japanese entertainment without Western taint all over it.
Yeah, Western, basically sabotage.
They're just hijacking. They all want to bitch about cultural appropriation, but like, I'm sorry,
yeah.
What the fuck are you doing taking another country's creative works and warping it to fit your stupid ideology? Like that stupid article I sent you. Sorry, I'm like getting all worked up. But I'm trying to be a calmer person. But that stupid article I sent you from CBR, which just needs to die.
Oh, yeah.
The most fiery, metaphorical death.
If you want to read straight up garbage, go read CBR.
And it pops up on my feed all the time. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
But I clicked into it because I was curious. It was like, say goodbye to your favorite, whatever, Japanese anime genre. And it's like, and then it was just this.
It was the shonen. It was about shonen and shoujo and how there shouldn't be a split between. And it's like, dude, first of all, you don't even understand the culture of this country. Like, shut up.
Yeah, it was just.
It was ridiculous. And I another piece of news came out recently, and I mean, other Japanese studios, they're gonna have to start watching out. Now, granted, this is, I guess, the studio's prerogative to do this under this act, because I mean that is creative control technically, but the remaster version of Tales of Berseria by Bandai Namco, they're making a remastered version of it, and they're censoring an entire scene in both the Japanese and the American release for being too violent. And that's Bandai Namco. That's the Japanese company doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is gonna, I'm telling you right now, that's gonna hit sales for that hardcore. Because they even came out and said it. They said, yes, we are censoring this.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you would say that. Most people would try to hide the fact that they censored something.
Right, yeah.
I feel, Well,
I guess it depends.
I guess, but, yeah. Oh, well. That's their prerogative, I guess, but, it will reflect in the sales, I feel. And then the next piece of news that we have is a Sonic fan series or comic by Team Chaotic, which, if you guys know Team Chaotic, they make, fan comics for Sonic, and they voice them as well. They've also done, fan voice works, stuff like that. Very, very good team, very good just indie team that makes, kind of Sonic audio dramas. But they're making, it looks like, possibly, a series out of it. Possibly with animation and stuff. And this is one of the coolest things about Sega. Sega is so freaking chill when it comes to this sort of thing.
Yeah.
They, like, unlike Nintendo, who will just, if this happened with any of their licenses, they would copyright them into the ground. Sega just appreciates the fans doing fan work, and, like, they'll even hire fans. There's one guy that made, like, I believe a Sonic ROM hack way back in the day, and Sega, like, hired him as a game designer for them because they were so impressed with his work. So I'm excited for this, especially if it comes to fruition. But we do have kind of infuriating news, and that's that Sonic 3 got completely shafted from the Game Awards for Best Adaptation. Yeah. Which is just so dumb. When
Game Awards.
Especially when you see what they put in its place, which was the Minecraft movie.
Which is ridiculous. Yeah. Because I went and watched that, and, like, it was nothing special.
Yeah. Until Dawn, and Last of Us 2, and then I can't quite remember what the fourth one was. But, like, Sonic 3 is the best video game adaptation is kind of adaptation that I've seen, like, in my life. That is one of the best adaptations of a video game I've seen ever. So, I don't know.
Yep. No, it's bullshit. But almost all awards these days are bullcrap, so.
Yeah, that's true.
What anyone was really expecting.
That is true. But yeah, on that annoying note, we'll get into our weekly spotlight, which we're trying to think of a name for this one. Jordan has the idea of weekly writing RX, maybe?
I don't know if anyone knows what
RX means.
Unless you get prescriptions all the time, which, funny enough, I do not, but I used to work in the healthcare industry, so I know what RX is. But, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'll brainstorm something.
Yeah. You keep saying that.
I know. No.
Every week, I'm like, we need to find a different name for this. And I'm like, well, maybe one day.
We're still in the infant years of this channel, so
we'll figure it out.
But we're going to be going deeper into the Lackadaisy pilot episode. It's one that we've talked about before. We've mentioned it in previous episodes. But with the recent news that it's getting a full-length show, we thought that, now was a good time to do it. So, why don't you take us away, Jordan?
Well, like you said earlier, we're going to be looking at how Lackadaisy works as a pilot episode. Does it work as a pilot episode? What it does well, what it maybe could have done better. As always, we will be getting hardcore into spoilers.
Yes.
I don't think you can really analyze writing and entertainment if you don't get into spoilers without being super vague and in my opinion, unhelpful. So spoilers are ahead. If you have not seen it and you want to, go watch it. I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite indie pilot episodes I've ever seen. We'll put the link in the description below. So basically, we're just kind of going to go through the main parts of it. If you've seen it, you know that it's split into two main sections. The first part...
That's fine.
Oh, you killed us.
Sorry.
How dare.
That's my phone.
You broke the cardinal rules
I know.
of recording.
I know. It's fine.
But basically, it is set in 1927 St. Louis during Prohibition. Yeah, and then we'll just kind of go through the opening sequence here.
Oh, and everyone's cats.
Yes, and everyone is cats. All the characters are cats, which is my favorite. I love it.
They're all anthropomorphic cats.
Yep. They wear clothes, so it's like, it's not Aristocat style. It's more like, if you've ever seen The Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah, Great Mouse Detective, The Rescuers Down Under, or Rescuers. Yeah, anything like Secret of Nim. Yep. Stuff like that.
Yep. So it opens on one cat in particular, Rocky, who is I think the primary protagonist. And again, another little just note here. We are coming at this from the perspective of people who have not read the webcomics.
Yes. We have no knowledge.
Yep, I've only seen the pilot episode. So by the way it's set up, I am assuming that Rocky is the primary protagonist.
Yeah.
And he's kind of sauntering across this giant bridge, playing a fiddle with no real, no real, like, melody to it. He's just, he's just messing around.
Yeah.
And he's reciting this poem, which I think is a great opener because it tells you exactly who he is, and it sets the tone for this story.
It also perfectly sets the setting, I feel, for the entire thing.
Yeah, because at first you're not sure which river he's talking about, but then he says Mississippi at the very end.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so they're on the Mississippi. I don't know if St. Louis is clearly established or not. I can't remember.
I can't, yeah.
I only know St. Louis because I was checking it out on Wikipedia to make sure that I was getting the right city.
Yeah.
We thought either St. Louis or New Orleans, but it is St. Louis. That's the one thing that I don't know if it really matters too much. You're in 1927.
Yep.
You're in a city. And now you're on the Mississippi, so it sets
you're
the
in
setting
a kind of
pretty
swampy area, too.
Yep. But, yeah, it sets the tone. Right away, you're kind of ready for a show that's a little whimsical and slightly chaotic. It also tells you exactly who and what Rocky is, which is a romantic performer, a chaos agent, and he is definitely that from what we see in the pilot.
Yeah.
And it establishes this sort of noir, like the storybook noir tone, which is really, so it's very well done. It's very well grounded, paced, voice acted. Voice acting is great.
Yeah. It's Michael Corvetch, which he also voices Angel Dust in in Hazbin Hotel, and he also voices Jax in Digital Circus, and he also voices I can't remember his name, the guy from Gaslight District. He's basically in any indie pilot besides Heathens recently, and the one with the dinosaurs. He's not in that one, but like he's in everything else. He is in everything else.
Good for him. He must be the highest rated voice actor on Fiverr.
Oh yeah, he's.
Don't know if that's where they picked him up or not.
No. I think he literally gets a whiff of these pilots going down, and he just immediately jumps on them.
Oh, okay. But then then it moves you really well through, I don't know, just this sequence of events. He gets to the end of his poem, and down below you can see Ivy / Miss Pepper and Freckle digging up a grave because they're looking for booze, basically, for moonshine. And the story immediately gets grounded by Ivy kind of making fun of Rocky's poetry and throwing it back at him a little bit. So you get some world building here too, inbuilt. You get the crime. They're clearly on not the wrong, but the other side of the law here.
Yeah.
But comedy, and then and you get some absurdity thrown in there too. So it's the opening sequence, like what a lot of screenwriters call the establishing shot, is basically supposed to do a few different things. It's supposed to set up where you are. That's like number one, usually. Yeah. And I think it's even better when it does more than that, when it gives you a really good look at the main character, which it does. And it establishes kind of the tone of Lackadaisy as a story. You get kind of like this dark humor, kind of absurdist, silly, again, chaos stuff that Rocky brings.
It's very stylish as well. It I love the first bit of this pilot because it has such a flair to it. In fact, the whole pilot does, actually. It's not like most pilots, when they first start out, they're a little hesitant to show you what they're all about right away. This one does not have that issue.
Or they don't know.
Yeah, or they don't know.
Some pilots don't have the identity. Lackadaisy does.
Yeah, Lackadaisy does. Yeah. Like, I would say one of the pilots that I would compare to say that, like, it takes a little bit for it to get its identity is probably Talon, which is the dinosaur one. takes a little bit for that one to get its identity, and that one was criticized a lot for pacing, because it moved
rightly
too quickly.
It does move
and
very fast.
it rightly so. But the guy even came out and said, I wish I could make it longer. I wanted to make it longer. So I think that Lackadaisy it uses its time incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
it does.
But yeah, it perfectly sets the tone for everything that's you're about to witness.
Yep.
Coming in the upcoming minutes of this pilot.
Right. Oh, and speaking of which, it does start building the tension quickly. Not only are they digging up moonshine, so immediately, and it's dark, and they're in this shady, sketchy graveyard by the river.
And you're
so
digging up a coffin.
Right, and they're digging up a coffin. So immediately the atmosphere is kind of tense, kind of, oh gosh, they're gonna get caught or something's gonna happen or whatever. And then that's all reinforced in the characters' behavior too, or it's directly contrasted by Rocky, which I think works very well, because Freckle is super jumpy.
Yes.
And nervous, and he doesn't want to be there, and he's just like, we're gonna get caught. And
he's
Rocky,
kind of the everyman.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely the everyman. And then Rocky's not taking it seriously. He's being Rocky. He's making jokes. He's yelling. He's raising his voice. He's making a lot of noise.
He's teasing Freckles.
Yes.
Specifically Freckles' crush that he has on Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
That Ivy seems to be kind of oblivious about. So you already get pretty strong dynamics between these three characters right off the jump, which is really good. The last time that I remember, the only other pilot I would say that really succeeds at that is Hell of a Boss.
Indie pilot, yeah.
Yeah, that pilot is gold when it comes to character interactions. This one is right up there with it.
Yeah.
It even kind of surpasses it a little bit. In terms of how much depth there is that you can see, the potential that you can see for more depth between these relationships.
Right. Well, yeah, because you get their dynamic right away. You get Rocky and Freckle kind of bickering, they're cousins, but they're close, so it's more like sibling relationship. They're wrestling, they're teasing each other, they're needling at each other. And then, like Dallan said, Rocky is teasing Freckle about his crush on Ivy, and Ivy's just kind of exasperated with Rocky, but sort of leaning on Freckle. She's relying on him to be the dependable one.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell, you can see that she's just thank goodness I'm not the only sane, normal person here. At least I have Freckle and I'll have to deal with Rocky by myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, and I think if you want to move into characters, that's probably, in my opinion, the strongest.
Yes.
Element of the pilot.
Yeah, no, I think the characters are probably my favorite part of this pilot, just because, and we'll get into this when it comes to making a good pilot, but the sheer potential for growth and development for these characters is palpable. It's very strong. I can see it going so many different ways. I can see where their personalities could clash to the point where, a fight happens between them at some point in the show. Or, a breaking up, getting back together sort of thing. There's those tensions there between characters that could snap and have the potential to snap. And those are honestly my favorite types of relationships to see. Reading through Wheel of Time right now, throughout Eye of the World, I love the whole tension between Rand and Matt during their whole trip to Camelin. It's so good. It's so well written. And I feel that kind of same thing with Rocky and Freckle a little bit. Where, when is Freckle gonna just not put up with his shit anymore? Right. So you see the potential there for definite growth.
Yeah. One thing to keep an eye on as you're watching the Lackadaisy pilot is notice that none of the characters ever break, even when there's tension, even when Mordecai and his Nicodeme and Seraphine show up and start shooting at them and try to kill them and take the moonshine. Well, we're assuming take the moonshine. even when that happens and the tension ramps way up, the characters do not get lost. Rocky is still Rocky.
Yeah.
Freckle is still Freckle.
Ivy is still Ivy.
Right. They're the same characters, and that's something that I think a lot of writers struggle with.
Yeah.
Especially newer writers.
Yeah.
So if you want to see how that's done, how you can have tension, how you can raise the stakes, but, you know, without your characters having to break, go watch Lackadaisy. It does it very, very well.
Yeah.
Like, there's one of my favorite parts is where they're in the car. Rocky and Ivy and Freckle are in the car, and they're driving away, and Mordecai's about to shoot at them. And Rocky's sitting there screaming at Ivy to take a right. And she's like, or no, left.
Yeah, go left. Yeah.
And she's driving. She's like, there is no left. And he's like, use your imagination, Miss Pepper. And he grabs the wheel and cranks it over, and they just go flying down this grassy hillside.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, so like, yeah, use your imagination. It's funny. It's classic Rocky. He's an improviser. He's, you know, he's not too bothered, I don't think, by danger.
Yeah.
Like, his character is still there. He's kind of an impish, reckless little drifter guy.
Well, it's also the same thing when, like, as soon as they're getting chased by Mordecai, the first thing that he does is cackles and grabs a gun and puts it in Freckles' hand, despite Freckles' protest that he doesn't want it. And, like, Rocky's basically been like, come on, you know you want to.
Yeah.
And as soon as Freckle does get the gun, he just
right, yeah.
goes crazy.
Freckle does kind of, but it's another cool thing because he still doesn't break character, though. You just get to see another side of him that he keeps covered up all the time, that he doesn't really want to acknowledge or admit that he has.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost a Jekyll and Hyde dynamic.
Yeah.
Except he doesn't lose total control, but he enjoys it more than he wishes he did.
Yeah.
He really doesn't want to, but he does.
Yeah, and it's like almost just because it's funny because he's calm and collected towards when he has a pistol. It's only the Tommy gun that gets him riled up.
Yeah,
which is interesting, and it makes you wonder why.
Yeah,
why is he fine with the pistol, but the Tommy gun for some reason is like the tool that completely breaks his mind.
Yeah.
For just a split second.
Well, and I think he's maybe calm and collected later, too, when he has the handgun. Because he has a mission, he's trying to protect Ivy.
Yeah.
While she tries to fix the car.
Yeah.
Because they've run it into a building.
Yeah.
So, like I said, just very strong character dynamics, really layered characters individually. We talked, was it last week or the week before, about character relationships and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, if you want a really clear, I guess, depiction of what we were talking about, where you have to focus on the individual first and figure out who they are and how they behave, and then you throw relationships into it, go watch Lackadaisy and you'll see what we mean. Like,
yeah,
they do not stop being themselves, no matter who they're around. They might shift a little bit. Freckle is softer towards Ivy. Ivy's more, I wouldn't say softer towards Freckle, but, like, more relaxed, maybe.
Yeah.
And a little more... She just knows she doesn't have to worry
about him.
She has to worry about Rocky. And then Rocky is also different. He's a little more formal with Ivy.
Yeah.
But he just teases relentlessly.
Freckle, yeah.
With Freckle, he's just a relentless little teaser.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's those two.
Yeah, it's Freckle and Rocky pretty much.
And then Ivy's kind of in their little trio. She's kind of the glue. She's the grounded one.
Yeah. But she's also, like, I said this when we were kind of talking about it, and Jordan disagreed with me. But she strikes me as the youngest out of the three.
But you called her inexperienced or something.
Yeah,
like that. The novice, maybe.
The novice, like, she's maybe done this maybe once or twice before. While Freckle has done this, plenty of times. And so is Rocky. So, like, both of them are a bit more experienced than she is. Because she asks she asks questions. She's like, who would even hide something like this in a graveyard anyway? Or like, she's more of the inquisitive one, compared to Rocky and Freckle, who kind of know the lay of the land a little bit more. I think I said newbie, which was not the correct term, but it just seems, it just seems more like she is more following Rocky and Freckle's lead, more so, like, and just kind of relying on both of them a little, even though she's worried about Rocky, she still kind of relies on him a little bit, even though she relies on Freckle more so, to get them through this.
See, I kind of have a different take on her. I think she's just the grounded one that's just trying to keep them on track. Like, she knows what they're doing. She knows why they're there. And she's just like, Rocky, can you focus, please? And, again, she's a little bit more relaxed with Freckle because she doesn't worry about him as much doing his part.
I think one of the things that I really like about Ivy is that she can actually banter back to Rocky, while Freckle can't, because Freckle's a bit more reserved.
Yeah.
But like the first line that Ivy has is her making fun of Rocky.
Yeah, she's making fun of his poetry.
So like,
I can't remember exactly what it is, but his poem ends and she's like, something I doth declare.
Yeah.
You have forgot us down here.
Yeah, you have got,
yeah. She's got this dramatic lilt to her voice in the very beginning, and then you have forgot us down here. And so she's witty, she's smart, she's grounded. She's very resourceful because she's the one trying to fix the car.
Yeah. Yeah, she knows how to fix the car.
Yep, and she's pretty calm and easy under.
She knows how to duct tape it together enough to get back to the bar.
That's more than Freckle and Rocky were doing.
Yeah.
So good on her. But yeah, no, I think she's competent and she's that. When you have characters like Rocky and Freckle, where Rocky is just this freaking, imp chaos agent character, and then you've got Freckle, who is Freckle's interesting. He's grounded at first glance, but the more you watch him and the more you pay attention to him, the less grounded he gets.
Yes. Yeah.
He's more like a character at war with himself, which makes him a different kind of chaos than Rocky.
Yeah.
It makes him sort of unpredictable and imbalanced. So when you have those two characters playing off of each other, it's always really helpful to have this stable, solid, grounded, Ivy knows who she is, she knows why they're out there, she's not messing around.
Yeah.
She's kind of, like you said, bantering with Rocky a little bit, but she is keeping them on track.
Yeah.
And it's funny because normally and this is just an observation, normally that role does fall to the female character in the trio.
Yeah.
You go look at Harry and Ron and Hermione.
Yep.
Hermione was the exact same thing.
Yep.
If you look at
Zoro, Luffy, and Nami.
Yep, Zoro, Luffy, and Nami. Nami is the grounded one.
Yep.
It almost always falls to the girl
Sakura.
character. Yep. And I have this theory that people just don't know how to make girls wacky and whimsical and crazy.
Yeah.
Some people do. If you look at Oda's later stuff, he definitely does.
Yes.
Carrot is not grounded.
No.
Yamato is the furthest thing from grounded.
I would even say Robin isn't grounded.
She's sometimes grounded, but most of the time... Well, actually, I'd say most of the time she's grounded. Sometimes she's not.
Yeah.
But again, she's one of his earlier characters, too.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say earlier on, she was less grounded than she becomes.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
But
same with Nami, actually. Nami's less grounded than she was at the beginning of the show. Like, now she's got her, goofy relationship with Zeus and stuff like that.
I think Robin's the inverse. I think she's more grounded now than she was
in
earlier episodes. Oh, yeah.
I would disagree with that.
No, is it
because I would say
okay, we can't get too more.
Yeah, I know, but I would just say that Robin's sense of humor and her macabre tastes and her saying shit that creeps the other people out or makes them lose all hope, all of that wasn't there when she was first introduced in Alabasta. The first time that she really says anything like that is when Nami's about to, in Skypiea, when she's about to swing across on a vine, and she's like, "Don't let go, or you'll die." Sort of thing.
But that's pretty early, and I haven't seen that much after. Yeah, where she's not on Whole Cake.
I would say Punk Hazard.
Yeah, I'd say Punk Hazard.
When we really got a lot.
But after that, you kind of lose it.
Yeah, you still got her like reacting with her face in Wano, but
that's not the same thing, though.
I guess.
Okay, but anyway, moving on. It does normally fall to the girl character, and I just have this theory that, especially, and I don't think Lackadaisy is. I think it's a female.
I believe so. Yeah.
But normally it's guys doing it. But although J.K. Rowling did it too, I think it's just a thing. I think there's just this inbuilt, like, hardwired thing in us to expect the girls and the women to kind of, like, take up the slack and just let the guys be their wacky selves, and the girls are over here having to take on all the emotional burdens. And so it's just an interesting way to see how that manifests in our entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would encourage newer writers to branch out.
Yeah, I mean,
people have done it.
Go watch Has Been Hotel.
Yep.
The female characters are super wacky in Has Been Hotel.
Where, like, Vaggie's the most grounded, but then you've got Charlie, who's just off the wall.
And Emily.
Yeah, and Emily, who's...
So, like...
Yeah. So, like, people are... They're getting past that.
Yeah.
But, like, even that pilot we just watched, Heathens, which we'll talk about more next week, it was kind of the same thing.
Yeah, Aura was kind of the grounded one.
She was the very grounded, competent one. And the guy was the...
Yeah, and Axel
kind of
was...
the goof-off screw-up. So it's a dynamic that normally is very gendered. Mm-hmm. So, which is not, like, a bad thing or good thing. It's just an observation.
It's a trope.
It's just a pattern to be aware of when you start writing. Make sure you're being a little aware of that. And make your choices accordingly. Like, make a conscious decision. Do you want the girl to be the grounded one, or do you want the girl to be the more wacky, crazy one? And there are stories out there that flip that dynamic, and they do it very well. But they're harder to find.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she definitely fills that role, though. Ivy does. She's the emotional balance and the grounded one.
Yeah.
And then we get into my favorite.
Who is Mordecai?
He's my favorite character. I love these characters. I love a monster in a nice suit. Oh my gosh. They're the best.
Mordecai is really cool. I fully... Because I remember when I first watched Lackadaisy, because I think I watched the pilot without you the first time.
You did.
And then I was like, oh, Jordan, you need to watch this. And I knew right away that, like, Mordecai was going to be your favorite.
He knows my character types.
Yeah, and I love Mordecai. Because I see so much potential with him in terms of where he could go. Mm-hmm. There are so many different avenues that the writers could take him in. And, like, his personality is in stark contrast with our three main characters. Like, literally black and white.
He's the exact opposite of Rocky.
Yeah.
Like, everything Rocky is, Mordecai is not.
Yeah. He's not... Yeah, he's very soft-spoken, precise, super calm, very... wants to be in control at all times. Does not like unpredictability.
He's meticulous.
Yeah.
Like, to an almost neurotic level.
He's meticulous. Almost OCD. Like,
yeah, he's also extremely intelligent.
Yes,
and you can see that in the way he makes his decisions and.
Like, throughout the show or throughout the pilot, like when he counts the amount of bullets.
Yeah, it's just clear too that, like, competence and doing what he sets out to do is extremely important to him.
Yeah. And he's not really like a people's cat. You know?
He's very cold.
Yeah.
Boy is like
he almost doesn't understand people. Like, I get that vibe from him a little bit.
I can see how you would that's not in the pilot, but I can see where that could definitely be a part of his character where he just, like, emotions for him Nope.
Yeah, just doesn't quite click with him.
No. He's very cold, very just detached.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you have his whole relationship with Nicodeme and Seraphine is probably one of my favorite things in the entire pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
We gotta mention real quick, just 1 second, his clothing.
Oh, yes.
And how it contrasts, because this is another thing. If you're a writer / artist, if you're a visual storyteller, this is one of the biggest, which is like one of my favorite things in the show, is how Rocky is in this like light blue kind of Rambler suit. It's very loose and casual. Whereas freaking Mordecai is walking around in a full-on stiff Victorian complete suit. Like, he's got the long coat, he's got the waistcoat, he's got the vest, he's got the shirt. It's buttoned all the way up to his chin. He's got a big old collar on.
The pocket watch.
Yeah, well, you never see his pocket watch, though.
Isn't it the chain hanging out of his vest?
There's a chain.
I'm sure that's his pocket watch. You
hear it, which is one of the cooler things.
Yeah.
Like Rocky, his kind of symbolic item is his fiddle. Not violin, it's a fiddle.
Yeah.
And then Mordecai, and so, again, very rambly. If you know anything about the violin, it is kind of a chaotic instrument. The fiddle. Yeah. Especially when it's played like a fiddle. But Mordecai's thing is the ticking pocket watch. Yep. You hear it, you don't see it.
Which is mechanical and...
Yep, meticulous.
Cold.
Ritualized control, and he's so cool. But yeah.
Predictable.
He is not improvisational. Everything about him is intentional and done with a purpose, and like nothing. Yeah, you see what he wants you to see, basically. Whereas Rocky's kind of an open book. You don't get anything from Mordecai that he has not chosen to show you.
Yeah.
And you like that's just clear in his character design.
Yeah. And I think one of the most interesting parts about Mordecai, and I'm interested to see what... I'm sure the answers are probably in the comic book, but I kind of just want to watch the show without any prior knowledge of the comic. But his odd reaction to Ivy, specifically when they finally do get away and they're speeding off, and he has the shot. He has the shot, and then you see Ivy reflected in his glasses for just a split second, and he lowers the gun, and he decides not to take it.
I can't say anything about that. I didn't notice that. I didn't catch it, and I did not go back and look. I didn't have time this week.
Yeah, no.
So I got nothing to say on that.
Yeah, if anyone goes and watches it, and take note, it is Ivy, like, because he's looking at the back of the car, and it's her reflection in the rear view mirror that stops him, and he lowers the gun. So it's like there's maybe a pre-established, I don't know, like, connection there. Maybe like he knows her father, or something, like there's some kind of relationship there that we don't know about yet.
It's one-sided though, because she doesn't react to him at all.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she ever really sees him. So she doesn't even really know who's shooting at them for a while.
Yeah, maybe not.
She sees Seraphine because she walks right out and talks to them. Mm-hmm. But I don't think she ever sees Mordecai.
Speaking of Seraphine.
Yeah, Seraphine and Nicodeme. While Mordecai is Jordan's type of characters, these two are my type of characters. I love the absolute fucking, like, we don't care about the danger, we're just here for a good time, not a long time, sort of characters who just, like, I'm just gonna spray and pray, and, we're getting paid, who cares, how many bullets we use, sort of characters, and, I love their relationship with Mordecai. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the entire pilot. Their bickering towards each other is so good, because Mordecai does make, like, really good points about how they're being reckless, they're being stupid, like...
Yeah, they're with Mordecai. Yeah. For anyone who hasn't seen it, they are with him.
They are with him, yeah. They're his team. or like they were hired alongside him or whatever.
Something, yeah. You don't know from the pilot, which is fine.
Yeah, and he makes good points like we need to be more careful about this, blah blah blah, and they just kind of bounce it. They don't even get bothered, like, and that was such a great. I like that because usually with these types of relationships, when you have the cold, serious one and then you have the two rambunctious ones, usually when the cold, serious one sort of, snipes at them and verbally berates them, you see those two get cowed. But that doesn't happen in this. Instead, they bounce it right back to him. Like, well, do you want to drive? Or like,
they're not really afraid of him.
Yeah, they're not really afraid of him. They're just talking shit. And like, I don't know. I really like that dynamic. It's a breath of fresh air when it comes to those types of relationships. When it comes to like those two archetypes of characters. Usually the cold, meticulous one always kind of gets the last word in, but
and I would be careful with that, because if you do it wrong, so if you do where they bounce it back at him and they're not really intimidated by him, you can dilute his threat level. But Lackadaisy does it in a way that it says more about Nicodeme and Seraphine than it does Mordecai. Mordecai is established as a very, very real threat. And that is not brought into question by the fact that Nicodeme and Seraphine are kind of needling him. That says more about them and the fact that they're highly competent and also very deadly.
Yes.
They just have different personalities.
Yeah.
So be careful if you're going to do something like that. Just make sure that you're not, watering down the threat level of the antagonist, the main antagonist, which again is what I'm assuming Mordecai is.
I feel like a way to,
because you could do that risk is there.
Yeah.
Lackadaisy does not do that. They do it well.
I feel like the reason why they do it well is that Mordecai and Nicodeme and Seraphine are all on equal footing with each other.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're really they're not working for him. Mordecai. They're just with him.
With
they're
him,
extra firepower.
Yeah. Like you could even look at it as whoever hired Mordecai was like, he might need some backup, and like hired these two guys off the street or something, like you don't really know. Or like maybe they're a part of a completely different faction, and we're just kind of like mercenaries for hire, and so like I think one of the reasons why it works so well is if they were his like working under the same person, completely like coworkers sort of deal, then that would kind of undermine Mordecai a bit more. But because it seems like they don't know each other that well, and it's like, we're only working together for the night. Like we're not going to be sticking around with each other past this after we get paid. I think that's why it works.
Yeah.
It's almost a very short, partnership that's not going to mean anything to either party.
That's probably a good point, because there is a lack of familiarity there. Nico and Seraphine, I think, are brother-sister.
Yes.
So there's a lot of familiarity there. They're very, very comfortable with one another, even protective of one another, which I love in villains. I love it when they genuinely love each other.
Yeah.
They're your standard villains, but they have a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of potential for depth. They don't get a lot of depth in the pilot, but again, that's not a bad thing. We'll get more into that later.
Yeah.
That's actually a good thing.
Yes.
But yeah, no, their dynamic is also a very, very cool one. And if you want to see how to do that right, how to have a threatening character, but also have other characters who can needle at them.
Yeah, I think Jordan wrote it best in our notes. Mordecai is the order, and Nicodeme and Seraphine are the entropy.
Yeah, they're kind of like more chaotic.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean that's basically the first half of the pilot. It is, I think, it does a lot of things really, really well that a pilot has to do. You need to establish your tension points.
Yeah.
And obviously the main ones are between Team Rocky and Team Mordecai, which is what I called them for short. But within those teams, you also get a lot of lines of tension. You get Rocky versus Freckle and their sibling cousin dynamic. You get Rocky versus Ivy, and the fact that she's super grounded and he's floating up in the air. You get Freckle and Ivy, which is more of a romantic tension. It's not a clashing tension. And then you've got the clash between Mordecai and then Nico and Seraphine. And then all of this is the underlying tension brought in by the setting and the time period and the fact that they are digging up moonshine during Prohibition.
Yep.
So it does this so well, and it's one of those things, again, that I think a lot of newer writers miss when they're trying to write pilots or like chapter ones, you know, whatever. You can't just have events that happen. Make sure you have a lot of different lines of tension and that those are playing off of one another. And then, of course, this show is a masterclass in characters remaining themselves under pressure.
Yep, like we said,
You if you want to see how it's done, go watch Lackadaisy. None of them break.
No.
And then we get into the mid-episode shift, which I think we should just kind of gloss over because there's not quite as much. I mean, there's some here.
It's character setup.
It's a little
mostly.
It's a little messier. It's a little looser. Honestly, I think the pilot would have been stronger without this. Don't come at me.
I personally like it. I like it is the least memorable part of it, but it in my opinion it expands the main three characters a tad bit more. At least Ivy and Rocky. And their relationships, specifically with Victor and Mitzi.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Did you need that to get hooked, or were you hooked already by the
I was hooked already, but that got me more hooked. So I see it as a bonus.
See, and I see it as a... I mean, it's up to the author, obviously. It's up to the writer, whether you want to do it. I see it as almost too much. It doesn't lose me. Make that very clear, because I do like the setting. I like the characters. I like Mitzi, Victor, Zib and Wick. Is that their names?
Yeah, Zib and
They're
Wick.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Wick is definitely going to be probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I can see Wick being one of your favorite characters. And, like, it has some really great humor in it, like the fourth wall humor where they're talking about, like, Mitzi is talking about basically everything's going to crap and, you know, we're done, it's done. And like, you hear the funeral march while she's doing this. And then they all look over at the stage and the trombone player is playing the funeral march. So it's not music coming in over her. It's that guy back there playing it. So it's like it's a little bit of a... Yeah, like it's a little bit of a fourth wall break. And it's really funny because once it shifts to Mitzi, everything gets emotionally heavier. She's talking to her dead husband. Mm-hmm. The way she moves, the way she's designed, the way her facial expressions are, you can tell she's just weighed down by grief. And struggle and she's not in a good place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
And then
But she's also trying to, like, it's funny because you would think that this type of character would try to put on a show for people.
Well, she does a little bit. She's a socialite, so
but
she is
not as much as you would expect. You would expect her to be, like, you know, trying to be upbeat and peppy and, like, try to, you know, get people like, okay, we're going to be okay for this business that she's running. But it's a, like, and this is, again, a breath of fresh air for this type of character, for me at least, is that she's kind of, like, accepting of the fact that, yeah, this is kind of going downhill, our bar is.
Well, yeah, because you get the sense that she's probably been playing it up for a while, and she's just, she's tired, and she's had it, and she can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So it does... Like I said, it enhances the pilot in that it expands its emotional spectrum, which I think is a good thing. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it needed to be as long. I think you could have maybe had the scene with Mitzi talking to her dead husband's portrait, and then have them pull up out front or whatever, and just like, well, let's go see what they brought me or whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes into her speakeasy, and that's that.
Yeah.
I think you could have ended it there. You did not need Victor. You didn't need Zib and Wick, as enjoyable as they are.
Mm-hmm.
I just think at that point it got a little too, like, okay, where is this going to cut off now, and where are we ending this? Like, Mitzi would have been, actually, that would have been a fantastic bookend, because you open with Rocky's young chaotic energy reciting this poem, and you could close with this older, grief-stricken, and she's not, I don't think she's super older, but no. Older.
Yeah, she's like in her 30s.
Yes, I would say like 40s, maybe? I don't know, maybe. But, this older, grief-stricken, worn-down woman talking to her dead husband by herself. So you end on monologues.
Yeah.
Which could be really, really cool. And, again, if you want to lean harder into the poetry, aspect and everything, poems are sometimes, what do you call that? Like, what's the thing where you pronounce it the same way backwards and forwards? What is that?
I wish I know what you're talking about. It's like race car, but
right, but it's spelled the same way, but whatever. Anyway, you could have done something like that, and I think that would have been better.
Yeah.
I think that would have been stronger. I just think Victor, Zib, and Wick don't get a lot of really development. Zib and Wick, I didn't even really catch their names the first time I watched it. I had to go back and pay attention and listen. They come really quick, and so you kind of have a lot of characters thrown at you. I think it would have been better to cut it off with Mitzi talking to her dead husband, and I think it would have been stronger.
I disagree, but yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Okay, but why though? Is it just because you like that section?
No.
Like, from a writing perspective, justify that.
Okay, from a writing perspective, I think it expands Rocky and Ivy specifically a little bit more, giving them, especially Ivy, a personal connection to Victor. Like, you get this very, feeling of overprotectiveness from Victor's side, and Ivy's a little bit rebellious to that, and it gives a little bit more insight into who she is, a little bit more. Okay. Hold on. I let you go.
Dude, you cut me off all the time. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying, hold on. And meanwhile, Rocky, I love the part where Mitzi is starting to tell him maybe this is not worth it, but then she sort of just spares his feelings for a moment and says, nice job, I don't know. I feel like that just, it puts a nice bow, because I feel like that's where the real hook comes in for the main setting of the show, in my opinion, which is going to be the Lackadaisy speakeasy.
Okay, I'm going to push back on that again just a little bit and ask you to justify it one more time in a different light. But, I think that her scene with her dead husband does that way better than anything that comes after that. I think everything else that comes after that it's excess. You don't need it. I'm not saying it does anything wrong. I do think that the Victor and Ivy dynamic is good. I think the Rocky and Mitzi dynamic is fantastic. Again, Zib and Wick, they're hilarious. I don't know if they're flirting or just being antagonistic. I can't tell. But, but they're fun either way.
Yeah.
But that's premium episode 2 material. Why do you need that in the pilot? It already sets up the fact that they're getting this moonshine for this grief-stricken freaking widow who is trying to save her bar during Prohibition. You have the stakes. You have the plot. You have everything that you're saying the whole thing gives you. I don't think you need the whole thing.
Okay.
You can disagree still.
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree still. But yeah, okay. I get like I said, I get where you're coming from. But yeah, I personally feel like it's a good bookend to everything that we've seen. It's a moment of peace and quiet for those characters. It's showing them in a different environment.
Then I think it's more like the end of the Return of the King. Everyone always complained about that one dragging on way too long and pulling on the emotions until it was like, oh my god, are we done yet?
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of a microcosm of that.
I like the endings of the Return of the King.
So do I.
I think they tie everything up really nicely.
No, it does.
Yeah.
I like it too.
Yeah.
But does it get a little to the point where you're like, holy Lord, let's get there.
I don't know. Maybe this is another thing
It does. I mean, that's a consensus amongst a lot of viewers.
Yeah,
It does get there. I think everything after Mitzi talking to her dead husband is, again, just a tinier version of that.
I don't know. I think I just have... I don't know. Maybe I just have a little bit more patience than the average viewer when it comes to that sort of thing. Because I've never really realized that about Return of the King.
It's not about patience, though. It's about pacing and whether or not you're milking the emotions until they're gone. You don't want them to be gone. You want them to stay there.
I don't feel like they're gone at the end of this, though.
It's not just for you, though. There's other people watching it.
I know. But again, we said at the very beginning, this is our opinions.
But it leaves you on such an emotion, or such a different place emotionally than the first part does, and then it would have, because the first part is great. Mm-hmm. Then if you have the Mitzi scene, it pivots it, but it pivots it just enough where you're like, oh, okay, I'm into this. Like, I want to see where this is going. I just think anything after that is excess. I don't think you need it. I think it's fantastic episode 2 material. Okay, would you like? What would you think of an episode 2 that starts with that stuff?
I think that would work. I think that'd be fine.
I think it would work better.
I think that'd be fine. I think, okay, you know what I really like about this ending scene, actually? It shows how important our 3 main characters are to the people around them, which is something that we don't really see in a lot of pilots, and this is one reason why, in my opinion, Has Been Hotel works as well as it does, specifically the pilot for that one, is because you get to witness throughout all of that how much Charlie actually does change people around her, and it gives a good look into her character as to, you know, how others perceive them or her. And so I feel like this last little bit does that. And for example, like the bar is all sad and mopey and depressed until they come along. And I think that just kind of sets them up even more as like, these are the main characters that are going to be changing things.
See, and I think that's doing too much for a pilot. I think that should have been episode 2.
Okay.
But we could debate that forever, so we're just going to move on. Yeah, I mean, those are the things I think it could have done better for me personally. I also think that the dynamite scene with Rocky is super confusing. Yes. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
I agree.
It's funny, but it's like, it's clumsy because I don't know if he lost his shit, if he has a completely different personality, if he like got hit on the head and went loopy for a while. Like, you don't know what happens. That does not make it clear. Yeah, no. And then you don't quite know what Mordecai's actual motivation is. Like, is he from an enemy, a rival speakeasy? Does he have some kind of personal vendetta? I don't remember if he has this line, but I don't think he does. But one line from him about, like, not hitting the trunk when Nicodeme and Seraphine are shooting would have been enough. Because you know he cares about the moonshine. As it stands, you can't really tell if he cares about the moonshine. No. He's just there shooting at them.
Yeah. Like, you're not quite sure.
Sure. Or, like, at the very end, Nicodeme and Seraphine could, like, when they get away and everything, one of them could have been like, oh, boss ain't gonna be happy about this one. Yeah. And then it's established, okay, they're working for someone. Yeah. And then cut it there. But, like, so that could have been done a little bit better. But overall, again, Lackadaisy is an extremely strong pilot episode. Yes. One of my favorites, especially in indie. But I think even you can stand it up to almost any Hollywood produced pilot episode of a TV show, and I think it beats out a lot of them on just instant character clarity, tone, visual storytelling, props and wardrobe that deepen characterization, especially with Rocky and Mordecai. You have their action. The action scenes are driven by the characters and their personalities and what they would do, and not plot mechanics. Yeah. Like, the decisions made during that scene come from the characters. They don't come from what the writers needed to happen, which is another really good thing to take away from this show. And then you get world building through behavior and setting and surroundings and atmosphere. You don't get a crap ton of info dumps. And characters are who they are, and they don't change, and it's perfect. So on that note, I guess if we want to go take a quick little spin into the purpose of a pilot episode and get a little deeper.
We kind of talked about some of it while we were talking about the episode itself. A pilot episode is, to me, supposed to hook you into the show. It's supposed to make you want more of that. And so I think that this show does a very good job at that. With, posing questions that will be answered in the full show, posing relationships that can be developed more within the full show. And the main word that I would use to describe pilots and what you want your audience to see in them is potential. Everything, in my opinion, of a pilot thrives off of potential. It is, ooh, I can see where that's going, or ooh, I wonder what that's gonna do. You want your audience asking those questions in their mind throughout the pilot episode. Bringing in mystery and mystique that fully just makes your audience crave and hunger for answers to those, or to see that potential go to fruition, or maybe it goes in a completely different way. Potential and possibilities is what I would say makes a really good pilot.
Yeah, and I think to kind of go off of that, honestly, and this is why I have the opinion that I have of Lackadaisy is that, in my opinion, less is more. You want to give audiences a teaser of what they're going to get. You do not want to give them, the whole first course.
Yeah.
You want to basically, pilots should function as, the first maybe 2 or 3 chapters of a book probably is about where that falls. Actually, I don't know. That's arbitrary. Don't listen to that. But the beginning of a book is kind of the same way. You want to establish where the characters are, when, what kind of world they're in, what the tone is, and then you want to introduce the main characters. And you kind of do have to do this at a quick clip.
Yeah.
But you do it again in a way that establishes who they are through behavior, clothing choices, if it's visual, dialogue, choices that they make, how they react, how they interact with one another. You do not need info dumps. No. You don't need the horrid thing that I see some authors do, and I want to put my fist through a wall when I see them do it, which is I caught a glimpse of myself in a mirror. Bitch, no. I don't care if you're totally, novel based, if you have no visualization to lean on. No, absolutely not. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But I think it's good if you can do what Lackadaisy does, which is introduce the characters in tiers. So you have the core cast gets the most development. You've got the protagonist group, which is with Rocky, the antagonist group with Mordecai, and then you have emotional support characters in there, which I would say Mitzi is kind of, she's not the love interest, but she falls into that emotional anchor. And then you've got, in Lackadaisy, you've got supporting cast, you've got Nicodeme and Seraphine. I think they're probably maybe Freckle and Ivy fall into that a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
And then you've got the minor players too, where you just give them just give people just a glimpse of them. So Zib and Wick, Victor, and even Mitzi to an extent. Yep. You just want to give them enough. You want to give people enough to get hooked, but you don't want to overwhelm them. You do not want to Suicide Squad this. No. 2016. Yeah, no. Where it's just 20 minutes. This is Katana. She can cut you all up within a second. Yeah, no, you don't want to do that shit. Yeah. No, don't do so that. Bad. And I think when it comes to the plot, I think the best pilot episodes hardly even touch on the main plot. Yeah. The best ones, in my opinion, are ones that, you have a core conflict and it's confined to the pilot episode, which is, again, why I think ending it with Mitzi would have been better. Because you have, in Lackadaisy, the core conflict is Team Mordecai versus Team Rocky. That ends, but it ends in a way that hints at the larger plot. Especially if Mordecai or someone had said something about a boss. Like, that would have opened it up. So, like, basically the resolution of the conflict in your pilot, that resolution should bleed into the main conflict. The main, what's the story about?
Yeah.
You do not need to explain right away what the story is about.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the story's pretty clear already. It's...
But you couldn't tell me like exactly
what it's gonna all be about, like what the overarching plot of the first season is gonna be.
Yeah.
No.
You shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't.
From a pilot.
And I would say even with that Mitzi scene, you still don't get that. I think it's like you can see the possibilities of what it could be, which is, again, the possibilities and potential part that I was saying. You want to give your audience that in a pilot.
Yes. Yeah.
The more the better, but like at the same time, I also think managing expectations is a good idea as well in pilots. You don't want to make your pilot seem like it's going to be about something, and then the show comes out and it's about something completely different. Like, that's definitely something you do not want to do.
No, well, like another good example of a pilot episode, if anyone out there's ever seen Person of Interest, it was I think it was NBC. Was it NBC? Maybe. I can't remember. It was on network television. Maybe 10 years ago? Maybe a little bit more at this point.
Yeah.
It was way ahead of its time. It's really funny because it's all about AI that is so self-aware that it's like, it can make decisions. And so it's all about trying to like not let the AI crush you, basically.
Yeah.
But it doesn't start out like that. It starts out, the first episode, you get to see the main character, John, going through, he basically gets arrested because he beats the crap out of a bunch of thugs on a train who are going to beat him up. And he gets dragged into the police station, and they fingerprint him, and they're like, holy crap, who is this guy? Because he comes up with, like, black ops stuff and all of these different things. And then a lawyer comes and gets him out, and that lawyer takes him to Harold Finch, and Harold Finch is like, I need someone like you to come help me, basically save these people that the AI is identifying as being in danger of violence. And it's kind of like, so like the internal conflict of the pilot episode is, will John go with Finch and do this thing, or will he not? And like also, there's some other stuff going on too, but you don't, like, the resolution of that episode is that John ends up going with Finch, and then the actual story after that is them saving people with the numbers that this AI gives them.
Yeah.
And so you, like, again, it's confined.
Yeah, it's very focused.
Right, it's very focused, it's self-contained, but the resolution of that conflict at the end of that pilot episode is what leads into the rest of the series.
Yeah.
And what the rest of the series is actually about.
Another pilot that, for some reason, actually came to mind, that is a very good pilot, as, funnily enough, The Walking Dead pilot. That pilot is incredible. Yes, it does steal from 28 Days Later. We're gonna ignore that. But it's, it's about a guy waking up from a coma, and then it's the apocalypse. It's basically happened. And it's the whole pilot episode is about Rick Grimes trying to navigate through Atlanta without dying. And then he meets, like, a son and father. They help him survive for a little bit. And then he moves on. And that's the whole pilot. And it's like, I'm trying to find my kid and wife. Will he find his kid and wife? Well, you're going to have to watch the rest of the show to find out. And so, like, that's kind of, like, when I think of pilot, I always think of the Walking Dead pilot. It is a very good pilot.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that does very well is establish clear lines of tension, which Lackadaisy also does.
Yes.
Which good pilots should do.
Yes. Yeah.
versus characters, characters versus systems, character versus self, group versus group.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of different conflicts that you can introduce in a pilot, and you don't have to give like info dumps to establish this.
No.
And then
you just get a good POV character. I think that's really important for a pilot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that you have someone likable that your audience wants to follow.
Yep.
Through the show that you're about to show them.
Yep.
And I think Rocky definitely achieves that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see where that dude goes.
Yes.
Like I want to see where the hell that guy goes, because he's such an enigma of a character that it's like you could take him in 1,000 different directions.
Right.
So I'm very excited for that.
Yep.
And then like a promise of a tone.
Mm-hmm.
I think, which this one does really well.
Lackadaisy does very well. Yeah. And then it should just leave the viewer with questions, but the right ones. You want them to be curious. You want them to know what's coming next, or not know, but you want them to wonder what's coming next and be asking just asking the right questions, but not questions like what's happening, or who is the main character, or what is the point of this. Like, you don't want them doing that.
Yeah, no.
So, which if you do everything else that we've been talking about, that shouldn't happen.
No, yeah.
But just something to definitely be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we've kind of touched really on what we don't think pilots should do.
To kind of bring up Heathens for a second, even though we're going to be talking about it, they do exposit in like the first, what was it, like few minutes of it.
Yeah.
It's like a big info dump of
it's just
what they're
exposition.
doing.
Yeah.
That's a problem, right?
It is a problem.
And like the thing with like something like Hazbin Hotel or Lackadaisy, I think the first thing you see in Hazbin Hotel is the little song that Charlie sings about wanting to, ascend or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see like the one demon go, "I'm alive. I survived the extermination," and then he gets run over. Yeah. And and then you see like the sign that says, blah 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 days until next extermination. I think it's like 364 days until next extermination, because it's every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so like instantly it shows you everything that's happening down in hell.
Mm-hmm.
And it's instantly clear this is hell.
Yeah.
These are demons and sinners, and like it establishes itself right away.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lackadaisy does something really good where all it does is it just gives you one single line. It is 1928, right?
27.
It is 1927. It is the Prohibition era.
Yep.
That's all you need to know. Because if you know anything about history, you know what that time was like.
Yep.
And so, like, that's it. That's really the only information you need to get going.
Right. Well, yeah, because you gather everything else from what's happening, but the characters never once say, "Hey, we got to dig up this booze and get it back to Mitzi so we can save her speakeasy." That never, never once gets stated. That is inferred and implied through atmosphere, through events, through character dialogue, through setting, through the fact that they're getting this booze from Mitzi. Like, there's so many things that imply that. Like, you've got to trust your characters to be able... Or your characters. You have to trust your readers and your viewers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're talking about pilot episodes. So, viewers, you have to trust your viewers to pick up on all of this stuff.
Yes.
Like, especially as a pilot episode, you are in a visual storytelling medium for a reason. Use the visual part. Use it.
Yeah.
Something that Heathens does not do.
No.
Which, again, we'll get into that one next week. But, even though it seemed like...
It's fine.
Heathens seemed like, if a full-length show comes out about it, I'm going to watch it. I'm curious enough.
I'll watch it. Yeah.
I'm curious enough to want it. Like, what's this about?
Yeah.
I don't know. But, you do not need the characters sitting there talking to each other about what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah, no.
Please don't do that.
No. I think they mentioned Miss M once before they go to the speakeasy.
But they never mention a speakeasy.
Nope, they never mention a speakeasy.
They don't mention that she's grieving. They don't mention
Nope.
that her speakeasy is about to die.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't mention any of
none
that.
of that.
Because it's not important to what they're doing at the time.
I mean, it is, but it's just not something that you're going to sit there and talk about.
Yeah, it's just, that's not how people talk.
No.
You know, so, like, yeah, it's very natural. And I think that's
Yes.
another thing, just, you know, you want to be natural with your pilot.
Yep. Well, yeah, because it also prevents another major don't, which is do not overstuff it with information.
Yeah.
You don't need to clearly lay out everybody's motivations or world rules or politics or magic systems or who the factions actually are. Like, again, we know it was Rocky versus Mordecai, but who they represented, you don't know, really. Like, you kind of find out that Rocky's with Mitzi, but Mordecai, you have no clue. Which is great for a pilot. It's like, that's exactly how I would write a pilot. I would barely hint at there being someone above him.
Yeah.
And you kind of, that's implied just by the fact that he doesn't seem to be personally invested in, like, in the outcome beyond the fact that he's pissed that he fails.
Yeah.
But, like, see, you get the sense that he is a hired gun. But it's never stated.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we have, like, don't do too many, we kind of talked about this, don't do too many scene changes or tonal swings.
Yeah, it just gets
messy and muddy.
It gets disorienting, yeah, and very muddy. Yeah.
This is a very important one. Don't raise stakes too high or too fast.
No, don't do that.
You don't want to freaking start out with a freaking full-on war happening right away.
Unless your story is about what happens after the war.
Yeah, this is where Gaslight District sort of failed. It made the stakes way too fast.
It did. Made them way
too high, way too fast. I like the Gaslight District pilot. It's super creative for what it is, and I'm interested to see what a show is, but I don't see it because it raised the stakes so high so fast. I don't see as much potential in where it can go compared to something like Lackadaisy.
Right.
Or Has Been Hotel at the time.
Right, because Lackadaisy starts small. It's a shootout between two very small little factions, and the world is so much bigger than what's happening into that graveyard, and then in Wick's...
yeah, in Wick's construction.
Yeah, construction site.
Yeah.
So it's... Yeah, you're not... Because if you raise the stakes too high, too fast, you have nowhere to go. Think about that, too. Like, you want them to stay very small at the beginning. And then, yeah, you pretty much just don't want to resolve too much. We talked about this already. You want partial resolution, so the pilot's one single self-contained little conflict, you want to resolve that. But you don't resolve, relationships, emotional arcs, tension between factions, so, like, again, you will notice that the tension between Mordecai's faction and Rocky's faction left very much intact.
Yes.
In fact, it's amped up a little bit because Rocky gets away, Rocky and his people get away, and Mordecai is visibly upset.
Yeah.
Not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, a pilot should basically feel like, okay, this is where the story starts. Now we're getting into this. The end of a pilot, that's what it should do for you.
Yeah. You don't want to start with the wrong POV, which we kind of already talked about.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's why prologues are usually
weird.
Not advised in books.
See, and I'm actually kind of I like prologues. I think they can be very useful, but you have to be careful with how you write them.
I do sound the same way. I kind of like prologues too, but it is... I don't know. I guess it depends on the genre. I think it's fantasy, you're fine.
Like,
but more like modern fantasy or YA, I would not recommend it.
No, yeah, but like one of my favorite book series of all time is Warriors, and I think they do prologues exceptionally well.
Yep.
So go study Warriors if you want to write prologues. They're really good at them.
Yeah.
And then don't overpromise. That's kind of what I said. Manage expectations.
Yep. On everything. Don't make promises you're not willing to fulfill too, because whatever promises you make in your pilot, you have to carry those through to the rest of the show.
Yeah, you can't be like, I'm gonna make a giant One Piece sized thing and set it up to be that,
Right.
And then it's
like 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's like 10 episodes of what? Yeah.
But yeah, basically just remember that pilots are a taste test. They're they're a teaser. They should leave your audience feeling intrigued, attached, curious, excited, eager for what's next. Definitely not overwhelmed, confused, or, satisfied. Like, I've already seen what I need to see. Like, I'm good. Don't do that. You just want to tease them with it.
I've almost found that the best pilots are windows into the everyday life of the characters. Has Been Hotel does this with, like, the hotel is opening, but it doesn't open until after the pilot. Right? And so, like, there's no guests. Or there's one guest. There's angel dust.
Yeah.
But the whole pilot starts with Charlie going on to the news program to promote it, which is not the place that you would think that this story would start. But it starts kind of in the middle of it, and it's like, this is what's happening. Like, I feel like pilots shouldn't start at the very, very beginning of things. Nor should they start, like, at the end of a conflict. I think if you plop a pilot down right in the middle of something going on, and just kind of, like, naturally introduce those characters through the middle of that going on, I think that really flows well. Because, it is just a taste, right? Yep. You're just getting a little section of something. You're not getting the full picture yet.
Yep.
So, I that's how I see it.
Yep. I think that's pretty much our take on pilots.
Yeah, we have like a little thing that we wrote out. A great pilot gives you a world, a protagonist, a taste of conflict, and a reason to care, then leaves you with the right questions, not the right answers.
Yeah. Yeah, so. You do not want... You want people to have more questions than what they came in with.
Yes.
But again, the right questions.
Go watch Lackadaisy if you haven't already. And go watch Has Been Hotel as well.
And, I don't know.
Yeah. That pretty much wraps it up for our deep dive. So we have a little overdose section. We're just going to chat about this for a little bit. We'll do a little quick fire things. Handling character deaths. This might be a future episode that we tackle in a deep dive at some point. But as for things that you maybe are struggling with figuring out how do I effectively write a character death, what makes a character death impactful, and you're looking for things to kind of take inspiration from, spoilers for One Piece, go watch Marineford. Watch all of it up to that point and see how impactful a certain character's death is in that arc, and how that changes the entire course of the story. There are really bad, actors when it comes to writing these. Walking Dead got to this point where it was, we're just going to do shocking deaths for the sake of shocking deaths. And same with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I was going to say Game of Thrones.
I'm going to say this right now. I fucking despise the storytelling element of nobody is safe.
I don't like that either.
Piss off. I don't care if that makes me a plot armor apologist. I don't give a fuck. Don't do that. Just don't do it. It is not an engaging story. Like, it's just not. Because if nobody is safe, what is the purpose of me getting attached to any of these characters?
Right.
Like, there's none. Right? Because who knows? They could be dead by next, Another show that I would recommend on how you look at how they handle character deaths is Mayor of Kingstown. Go watch Mayor of Kingstown if you want to see shocking deaths that have purpose.
That last
the last one.
That did not make me happy.
No, the last one pissed off Jordan and I because it killed off one of our favorite characters.
You bitch.
But, Mayor of Kingstown handles its deaths incredibly well. And they have overarching implications for the rest of the story. And each death is felt, and it hits because you are attached to those characters. but it also enforces, in a good way, unlike how Walking Dead eventually got and how Game of Thrones does it, it enforces how cruel and unforgiving the world is that these characters live in. And it handles it in such a way that I think Game of Thrones does better. What are your thoughts on character deaths?
I also am a fan of, just not, like, I'm not a fan of nobody is safe. That's not... Because what I get attached to in stories is characters. Now, I guess if you're a plot person, I guess that probably doesn't bother you. You're probably fine with the nobody is safe thing. Yeah. I am not a plot first person. I'm a character first person. So, when I don't feel like I can get attached to anyone, I don't care about the story. I don't give a shit. I'm like, why am I watching this? It's why I fell off of Game of Thrones. Pretty early on, actually. I was like, well, this is not my thing, so goodbye. I'm not a fan of wanton character death. I think character deaths should have, like, a point, or at least it should fit the world, like you said, with Mayor of Kingstown. It's a very grim, dark, gritty, gruesome
prison drama,
right? Just atmosphere and
drama,
location and setting. Yeah, like it's very grim dark. So when characters get killed, it hits, but you're not shocked. You're like, oh damn it!
Like
I saw that coming.
The last one that happened in season 3.
I saw it coming.
I saw it coming because as soon as you realize, oh, you're focusing on this character a lot, aren't you? And you're showing us his everyday,
right,
okay.
All of a sudden, you're seeing him outside of his profession in the prison, and you're seeing him in his home, and you're like, son of a bitch, what is going to happen to this guy? And then it happens, and you're like, oh, I knew it, but I'm not happy about it.
But then Mayor of Kingstown also slaps you in the face with the death at the end of season 2 that makes sense for a very prominent female character on a bus.
Yeah, that one
and,
hurt too, but it also just makes sense.
It makes sense, because, like, what else did you think she was gonna do? You think it was gonna be happily ever after? No.
Right. But there's also stories that don't do it very well. Like, I think sometimes authors or writers just think they need to kill characters because it is what would happen.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling is definitely one who you could accuse of doing that at the end of the Harry Potter series.
You could also accuse Aaron Hunter, who writes the Warriors book, of doing that. They do it often.
Where it's like, oh, it's a war, so obviously characters are gonna die, and it's like, well, yeah, but I mean, is that really the story that you've established? Not really.
Yeah, like there's a scene in Warriors where a character named Snowkit dies because he's deaf, and he walks out in the middle of camp, and a hawk comes and grabs him, and he can't hear anyone yelling at him. But at the same time, like, a lot of people find that death very pointless and like just kind of shocking for shock value. But then if you go back and reread it, you do realize that it has serious, like, impact on the characters. Specifically for a later arc that happens with a certain blind cat that gets born into the camp. So, and like how they deal with that. So it's just, you have to make sure that if you want to do a shocking death for a character, yes, make it shocking, but also make it have a point and make it where you can kind of see it coming a little bit.
Yeah, I think you have to take into account the story that you're telling.
Yeah.
Like, generally, I'm not a fan of fridging. But
I hate fridging.
In something like The Punisher, it works really, really well.
Yeah.
I'm also not usually a fan of wanton death and crazy just everywhere. Everybody's dying. Almost no one's safe. But I love Attack on Titan. Because it fits the story.
Yes. It fits the world.
No one. But at the same time, though, like, Eren is safe, though, because he's the POV character.
And Armin is safe. You kind of know that Armin's safe a little bit. Though, for a moment, though...
freaking mess with you on that one.
Yeah, you think that he's not.
You're like, oh god, are they going to do it?
Yeah.
But it works because, yeah, they have killed other named, very much liked characters. And it's like, but it fits. It fits the story. So I think, really, the best thing you can do with character deaths is does it fit your story, or are you just doing it because, yeah, you either want to shock value, you want to raise stakes, which I don't think character death alone actually does.
Yeah.
Like in Harry Potter, the stakes were already pretty high. You didn't need to have one of the twins die. You just didn't.
Yeah.
That was completely unnecessary. That's not the kind of story that she built up. I think the only reason she did it is because they were having a war, a wizard battle at the end.
And so someone had to die.
Someone had to die. Same with Tonks and Lupin.
Tonks and Lupin, like, why?
They just
why those two?
Yeah. They just get axed, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And
like...
It shifts the entire framing of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
In a way that I didn't necessarily enjoy, and I don't think anyone else really did either. So I think it has to fit the story that you're telling. I think that's the cardinal rule for me. Is
it has to fit the story, and in my opinion, it has to have consequences.
Yeah, consequences are always good.
Yeah, because to go to Attack on Titan real quick, to Attack on Titan real quick, the act of saving Armin over Erwin has major consequences for the rest of the show.
Oh, it does.
Especially
massive
in terms of Flock's character.
Yeah.
So
unending consequences.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our episode. That's our episode 14 of the Plot Pilled Podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed. What do you think of pilots? What did you think of the Lackadaisy pilot? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Or what is your favorite pilot episode?
Yeah, what is your favorite pilot episode? Let us know down in the comments below. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Later.